How's it going, folks? So today I'm going to be talking about the new upcoming album from the band Heimdall. The name of this album is Hephaestus. This bad boy comes out Friday, August 25th. And y'all know it by now. Before I get into that nitty gritty, let's check out the cover. So boom, there it is. Folks, now that is what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about as far as a power metal cover goes. I mean, it looks so sick. That artwork, it looks awesome. You know, the dude's ripped and there's like fire and stuff all around him, the wind blowing in his hair, and it just looks amazing. It just, killer, absolutely killer. I love it. And if you're looking through the record shop and you see this cover, you're like, dude, that looks sick, but you never heard of the band before. Does the cover properly convey the music on the album? Oh yeah, I don't think anyone would be confused. I'm pretty sure folks would know this is a power metal album here, and I mean, so definitely an A plus on both fronts, aesthetically and properly conveying the sound, of the album, and just the way their name is there, Heimdall and then Hephaestus. It's just sick. It's just sick. As simple as that. So yeah, I dig the cover. That is what I'm talking about, folks. Anywho, enough about the cover. Let's talk about the album itself now. And it's interesting. It's been like a decade since this band has released an album. So from what I could see, 2013 was the last time these folks dropped an album, but they've been around since like the mid 90s. So definitely seasoned folks here, seasoned professionals. A lot of the members are original members, but there's some newcomers that started around like 2007 or 2013. Those ranges. So anywho, but this bad boy's got 9 tracks on here. Comes in at about 41 minutes. So nice length of time. The album itself it's concise. It's very focused, and it doesn't beat around the bush. And so yeah, I dig it from that perspective. It's just the right length. There's no filler here whatsoever. A nice length where you feel satisfied. By the end of it, like it's a solid album. You get enough tracks and a good length of time that's not bloated or anything like that, and then you can just start the bad boy right over again. So the sound, I mean, this is just truly some classic melodic power metal here through and through. With some songs a little on the heavier side, some heavier guitar riffs, but it's just melodic power metal. As simple as that. Simple as that. I mean, great musicianship. The guitars, especially. I mean, just there's some killer riffs. There's wicked solos, but then there's also like awesome melodies like throughout some of the verses and the choruses, where just some really great melodic fancy playing happening in the background, not just like some chords and stuff. I mean, there's just some awesome stuff. It just sounds great. The guitar work, I mean, there's some shredding here. There's just a lot of crazy, well done guitar work here. Like I said, whether it's shredding, soloing, riffs, all of that, it's just super, super solid. Really, really great and impressive. Really kind of is the foundation of the sound, because there is some keyboard strewn throughout the album. It's not a main focus, but there's definitely some keyboard work here and there with a little bit of symphonic elements, but some songs, from what I could hear, don't have keyboard at all, whereas some others have a little bit just to add flavor and all that good stuff. But for the most part, the guitar is like the driving force. Most of these songs are on the speedy side, and as I said, melody is also just the name of the game here. The melodies throughout this album are just so great. All of the songs have memorable qualities to them, and the melodies, sometimes it's just soaring, to the sky. Other times a little bit more driven, but just very memorable, very catchy. And again, just what you would expect from a very solid melodic power metal album and songs. It just really, really songwriting wise, it's just well done. You know, Fuse taking the all the guitar work, the guitar licks and melodies, and then the vocal melodies get so much love as well, and the rest of the instruments too. I mean, the drums are killer throughout this thing, and the bass you can really hear it chugging along at times, and the vocals. I really want to point out the vocals too, because the range of the vocals on this album are nuts. You know, sometimes you have quite low register vocals, but then other times, a lot of the time, you have just really excellent, epic high notes being hit, but just the range is astonishing. You know, just absolutely killer. And like I said, but when a lot of these songs really get going and you hit the chorus, the vocals just soar, just absolutely soar, and you're just swept away in the melody and the feeling of the songs, and it's just great. You know, like I said, other times, you know, there's like more driven guitar work. It's a little heavier, but then it just takes off, and you know, all the melodies just come together and just create such a epic, grand sound that I was quite impressed throughout this whole thing. It starts out with the track Hephaestus, the title track. It's a pretty heavy track. It kind of comes in nice and heavy, gets things rolling, and just the speedy kind of melodic power metal vibe, you know, pretty much carries through, like track 2 Masquerade, track 3 The King, track 5 Till the End of Time is like the ballad of the album. And oh man, it's such a powerful, epic ballad. I love it. There's some piano work in there. There's moments where it's just kind of like the bass and the drums really kind of setting the mood and the feeling. And then the guitar kicks in and just kind of takes off. And the vocals are just grand. And this song really showcases the vocals, the range really well also. Just an awesome ballad. I really enjoyed it. Track 6, Power, is one of my favorites on the album. I mean, there's not a bad song on here, I'll say that off the rip. So I have quite a few favorites, but like I said, there's no bad song. But Power is really awesome, and it's an apt title because it's filled with a lot of power. And I mean, just the speediness and the melodic nature of it, and the chorus and the vocal, it's killer. I mean, it just all works together so well. You know, the guitar work in the background and the vocals just, you know, really delivering the lines and the melody just splendidly. I just love this song. It's one of those songs, a lot of these songs have this quality, but you just want to raise your fists in the air. It gets you pumped and amped, and you know, it just really energizes you, you know. And the whole album rounds out with track 9, and it ends on a really cool note. It's an epic cover of the Queen song "The Show Must Go On," and they do such a great job. And it's a really nice way to end the album on an epic note, and it just on a somewhat familiar note, you know, if you know the song, but just in a really cool Heimdall fashion, where it's just epic and you know, power metal infused with great guitars and just a great mood and vibe. It's just a nice way, a nice end cap to the album. But if you don't include the cover, track 8, Spellcaster, is like the last original song on the album. And I mean, this bad boy is wicked. It's powerful again. It's speedy. There's so many cool elements going on. Killer melody. And it's kind of the name of the game here, folks. You know, I mean, there's not too much more for me to say. You know, like I said, it's just great musicianship, killer vocals. The songwriting is so just treated with such care, where everything just works together to create, you know, the sounds and the melodies. You know, that's the way it should be, but it just creates a nice, rich, full, powerful sound. And you know, there's a lot of movement throughout these songs, and soaring and then driven and heavier, and but it flows really, really nice. And a lot of care was put into all of that, and you can tell listening to this thing that these folks know what they're doing. You can hear it, and it just I was quite impressed, quite impressed. When I first was getting ready to listen to this bad boy and I saw the cover, I was like, oh man, this cover's so. Please let this album be sick, because that cover is so tight, and the album lives up to the cover. It really is enjoyable. Any power metal fan, do not miss this album. Like I said, I was very, very impressed. It's not a bad song on here. And there's just so much to enjoy, whether you're more into like the guitars or more into like the vocals or just the melodies. It's all there. And like I said, there's a keyboard throughout in some of the song, and more in some songs than others. But it's a little bit of symphonic touches at times, and more just keyboard or even piano. But it just adds a nice flavor, and it's just an enjoyable, classic, traditional, if you will, melodic power metal album that no frills. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It knows what it is, and it does it just beautifully. It's not trying to create something completely new, create a new genre or anything like that. It is just straight up melodic power metal, but done exceptionally well. And as I said, I mean, all of these songs here have memorable qualities. You'll have one kind of stuck in your head and digging it and being like, man, that's so good. And the next song starts, and then you forget the other one, because now you're all wrapped up in the melodies and the shredding and the guitar riffs and all that of the next song. So it's just a joy all the way through. Like I said, very, very impressed here. So that's my thoughts on this bad boy. It really is one not to miss for any power metal fan. It comes out August 25th. And yeah, that's my thoughts. If I were to give you one song to listen to, if you're like, Ranger, tell me one song to check out to decide if I want to hear the whole album or not. It's kind of tough to say because they're all so good. But my gut goes with track 3, King. And I believe that was just released as a single too, conveniently. But I feel like this song really captures the spirit of the whole album. In the one song, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first song on the album where you get a little bit of keyboard in there. I don't think the first 2 tracks have any. So you have that, and you have some great guitar riffs, but also some nice noodling and just great melody, great vocals in here. It really gives you a good idea of what to expect on the whole album. So check out that song. But even more importantly, check out this album when it drops. Like I said, they've really knocked it out of the park with this one here. They've really come back after a decade, and they're like, hey, look, we're still here, and we're still killing it. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this. Nothing but good things to say, really. So yeah, check it out. Again, that's Heimdall with their latest album, Hephaestus, coming out August 25th. Let me know in the comments down below, folks. Are you a big fan of this band? Have you been listening to them for a couple decades now? Have you heard any of the singles? Are you looking forward to the new album? Let's talk about it. And once you've heard the album, come back here and let me know your thoughts. I'd love to know what y'all were, think about this album as well. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you all next time. Ranger.